Everyone. Thank you very much. Yes.
We see presentation. Shio, everything is okay?
Końca czas, chciałem prezentację.
Aha, Kiki.
Okay. So, technological and philosophical research methods of time and space aspects in music, due to the example of Georgian singing folklore. The use of technological processes of music is related to 20th century. New technologies have created a new musical international space. Among them, technology in music lead to a different understanding of time, space, and technological and spatial music came into sight in the 20th century, where space became the main parameters of music. Such composers include Cage, Warith, Stockhausen, Cole, and others. Similar processes began in Georgian professional music in the second half of the 20th century and are associated with Swanidze, Ignadze, Chabashvili, and others. Maybe Chabashvili is here. From this point of view, interest in ethnomusicology has also arisen and the scope of research has expanded. Computer research of folklore has become relevant. German, Japanese, and Georgian parties are working on these issues. Among them are Frank Schirbaum, German, Nanem Javanadze from Georgia, and Morimoto Masako, Japanese. The research prospects are diverse, among them Japanese scientists under the leadership of Masako conducted a study of the sound structure of Georgian folk songs and a quantitative analysis of the vibration structure. The idea of studying the objective spatial parameters of folk song gave rise to the idea of studying their artistic philosophical space, which does not necessitate technological processes. Therefore, I believe that the philosophical approach to temporal spatial categories revealed in folk singing are no less interesting, which are reflected in an extremely interesting way in folk musical creativity, and in this respect, ancient polyphonic Georgian singing folklore provides interesting impulses. Thus, the subject of the research is the temporal spatial aspects revealed in traditional Georgian musical thinking. Hereby, the aim is to determine the artistic parameters of chronotopic categories in national song folklore. In this regard, the scientific opinions of Heinrich Orlow provide the impulses for researching the peculiarities of identifying chronotopers in Georgian traditional choral music. If it differentiates the understanding of time and space according to continental, regional, and related worldviews. Orlow mentions two main perceptions of time, pan-European and Oriental. As he says, the word time has different meaning in different cultures. He explains the difference between the Western and Eastern understanding of time by quote of Northrop. To Western person, the symbol of time is either an arrow or the movement of a river flowing from a distant place and past, which is neither here nor now and continues on its way to an equally distant place and future, while to the Eastern person, time is a calm, silent reservoir, the surface of which from time to time imperceptibly vibrates and disappears there. If the Eastern thinking does not oppose the flow of time, the European one tries to subjugate time and influence it. The tendency to overcome the continuity of time acquires a conscious character in the artistic thinking of the Middle Ages. It means the set of expressive means developed by European composers through which it became possible to divide time and influence it. return time, or at least travel through time in a musical work. Music is a process, a continuum of time defined by matter, rhythm, and tempo. The sense of time passing is provided by changing the musical fabric, which is carried out by means of musical expression. For as much alteration in music is a measure of time. The relationship between these fixed elements of musical structure affects the passage of time in music. Thus, the Western thinking has made continuity of time and the irreversibility of time manageable through musical means of expression, takt, reprise, change to tempo nuance, and etc. From this point of view, polyphonic texture deserves special attention. Polyphony is not only the greatest achievement of European music, but also the main category of traditional Georgian musical singing, citat of Professor Rusudan Zurtsumia. Georgian traditional music is a complex phenomenon due to the unique geopolitical location of the country, which has reflected the influence of Western and Eastern cultures along with the ancient Caucasian roots. Since the categories of time and space express the attitude towards the world by the ethnos, the nation, and the society. Accordingly, Georgian traditional music also underwent change in the worldview of the ethnos in the wake of its historical and cultural development. It is also known that two circles of Georgian culture, Eastern and Western, are distinguished during considering it in the context of ancient civilizations. The first Georgian state formation, Diauch and Kolkha, in fact have already defined two areas of Georgian culture, Eastern and Western. Ethnomusicologist Nino Tsitsishvili discusses cultural influences as a result of migrations in the region due to the example of Georgian traditional music. As Tsitsishvili points out, historical migration processes played a certain role in the formation of Karthagetian, of the so-called long songs, in which people with a monodic singing style were involved. Tsitsishvili. The researcher parallelized between the features of Eastern music and Carthagetian songs based on the comparative analysis. It separates tone and rhythm matter from various parameters. Tsitsishvili thinks that the singing style of Carthagetian long drinking songs, Urmuli or Ovela, should have been formed on the basis of merging two different musical styles, the ancient autochthonic polyphonic and the monodic styles left by the Indo-European tribes when they passed through the territory of Eastern Georgia. Seemingly, an understanding characteristic of the Eastern time is revealed in Carthagetian musical folklore, where the leading place is held by melismatic rendered in free matter and repeating rhythmic groupings of extended melodies. The feeling of infinite time is intensified by the extended burden, which also creates a specific spatial field. The archaic layers of the mountain musical folklore of Eastern Georgia confirm that Burdonian polyphony was widespread in Georgian traditional music even before the migration of Eastern tribes through Georgia. Considering the aspiration of European musical thinking to overcome the continuity and irreversibility of time, these principles are clearly expressed in the traditional music of Western Georgia, where complex and contrasting polyphony is widespread, while the Burdonian type of polyphony is found only in fragments. Mainly in the ensemble songs of Western Georgia, the matter is regular, the rhythm is divided, and the structure is based on the repetition of short rhythmic groupings. The characteristic tendency of European musical thought to overcome time is clearly revealed here. In addition, as a result of observations, I noted another specific perception of temporal and spatial, which was characteristic of the ancient era and is still preserved in the mountain. It is known that the views of mountain people about time and space are much different from the so-called chronotropic perception of the civilized world. It's about the early period when a person perceived the world as one big space and considered his own land as its center. This is perfectly revealed in such myths spread in the mountains where pagan deities, Christian saints, and historical heroes are united. The Eastern Mountain and Swanetian folklore is the most archaic of Georgia, and in which the mythological understanding of time can be seen. As for the space, in general, the spatial parameters characterize all types of music, both monophonic and polyphonic. However, polyphony has become the most important factor for the growth and development of this parameter. To my point of view, the responsive form of performance define together the real objective space and the artistic musical space in all the secular traditional music. Polyphony plays a special role in this process because the evolution of spatial thinking was revealed in the polyphonic structure, which was manifested in the increasing polyphonization of the texture. As it seems, the Eastern, Western, and mythological understanding of temporal spatial categories is interestingly and diversely revealed in Georgian traditional music. The general worldview's attitude towards the outside world, influence of other cultures have gradually reflected in the centuries-old folklore of our nation and which were illustrated in specific musical expressive components. Despite the fact that the new Georgian professional music retained linguistic, intonational, and stylistic connection with traditional folklore, it relayed European compositional experience, professional music forms, genres, and systems organized formal schemes, structures, and it can be said to the technological map of notation. The tradition of oral teaching and authentic performance has been preserved in Georgian folklore. Thank you for your attention.